Well, hi, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me in my shop today on the 8th day of the 8th month. And oddly enough, it's pretty cool here where I live. Surprisingly cool this morning. And apparently it's going to stay gray and turn into rain later today, so not the best day. I have before me a turntable and its associated amplifier. This is from an integrated stereo system. It's something that was quite common. In fact, this amplifier looks so similar to another one I have behind me. I'm a little surprised now that I'm looking at it. It's a lot better condition than the one I have. The record player has some mechanical problems. I think it'll play a record if it can, but right now the mechanical problems are interfering with it. So we're going to explore that, and the rumor is there's only one channel working properly on this amplifier. Not too sure about that, so we'll explore that question too and see what's up. I think the best way, I can plug all this stuff together and try and make it work. I think that's a good starting point. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I think we're ready to go. I got some speakers connected up here. Let's take a closer look at the amplifier and get familiar with it. In particular, the volume control. It says loudness, but I guess this will be, volume here. Okay, we know where the volume control is. Set all these to a neutral spot. Like that. This is the balance here. We'll put that in the middle. What's this guy down here? Speaker selector. So I believe I've hooked that up to the let's call it the primary speaker. It's got headphones here to check output with. That's good. And we've got tape, monitor, TV, CD, tuner, phono. It's pushed on phono right now. And I guess this panel must light up a little bit. Okay, as long as I know where the volume control is, I think we're good. Okay, I'm going to put on power here. I didn't plug it in yet. Yes, we must plug it in. Okay, let's try it now. So I heard a little pop on my left side. Didn't hear any pop from the right side. I've got speakers in my shop here up high. See, way up there. And another one way up on this side, way up there. So that's what I'm hearing. So what we'll do, it's on phono right now. We'll do the finger test on the cartridge. So it's a good chance the cartridge is off right now because of the position of it. Over here. Okay, so that's an example of what the machine is actually doing that's problematic. It just wants to reset and turn off all the time. Okay, that aside though, what about knowing for sure both channels are working here? So we need some kind of input into it, stereo input. And oddly enough, that's not the easiest thing for me to do in here. I'll figure something out. Well, actually finding a stereo signal actually proved to be impractical. So what I'm going to do, and it's no problem at all, is I'm going to use this signal generator to produce one channel of sound. It's coming out of this cable here. It's going to go into one channel in here. We'll hear it come out of one speaker, and then I'll just flip it to the other channel. And actually, it's a perfectly good way to do this. So what I don't know though is the signal level coming out of here versus what this is looking for. So putting the signal from here first into the tuner input. The tuner input is not nearly as sensitive as the phono input. Don't want to start with the phono input. So we'll start here. The tuner input, the output from here is set basically to 0 right now, so we shouldn't hear anything. And I've got a 2000 hertz or 2 kilohertz whistle going. Let's see what we hear. A bit of dirt in the volume control here. Don't hear a thing. So tape monitor, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn that off. Okay, don't hear a thing again. We'll turn up the level coming out of here. There we are. That's a little high frequency wise. Let's bring that down to around 1,000. Volume here is about halfway, so that should be pretty loud. So there we are. So clearly this channel is working. This channel is working. This one has no input yet. Okay, so I'm going to switch the input to the other channel. Turn that down. Okay, now we're on the other channel. Oh, we're like this now. So now this channel is quiet, and this one is operating. So both channels are working. They sound about the same volume. Ooh, lots of dirt here in the switch. So this can cause a lot of trouble. So the owner would complain that one channel was not working. It could be a switch like this doing that. This is the phono switch. You don't hear any static coming with it. And the rest of them don't have an input into them. Let's try it. I'll move this down to CD here. I'll move it down to TV, video. They're all dirty. So I'll have to get in and clean those, or they're going to cause intermittent trouble unexpectedly and could become tremendously annoying. Let's just go on the other channel here. Uh-oh. What happened? Where'd it go? Huh. Uh-huh. It says. Oh! How do you like that? Okay, what was happening there? I think we might have had a shorted out speaker. Not sure. It could just be dirt in the switch. The last one is tape monitor, which there's a tape monitor input back here. Okay, don't quite understand the buttons here. Apparently pushing the button in turns it off. Doesn't matter. Other channel. Yeah, fact is we're getting both channels working. They sound pretty equal to me. Even with the balance a little bit out. A little bit of dirt there. A bit there. Everywhere. Everywhere. Everywhere there's a little bit of dirt. Okay, so this is working well enough that we can turn our attention to this now and try playing a record. Really is really what we need to do. So put this back on phono. Right. Really? Is that what you would do? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm just going to unplug it here. That's curious. That's a little curious. What was going on there? So you'd think when you push phono, tape monitor wouldn't have any effect. I don't know though. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, well, I have extensive documentation. The owner was good enough to find this on the internet. This is the service manual, but I'm afraid it doesn't really tell you much in here. Very little. Operating instructions for the turntable. It's the 50th anniversary, 1987. It's the first name in high fidelity. Fisher is the first name in high fidelity? I'm not sure about that one. Here we are. This is a more thorough the service manual is empty compared to that. And operating instructions for the tower of stuff. And we don't need to go through this, but there we are. Lots of good information. record player. So we have this pushed on phono, we have the volume sitting there. I have a uncopyrighted record that I can play to my heart's content on my YouTube videos, and it's actually not a bad record. By a defunct band called The Tenants, and it was just chatting with, I don't think his picture's here. I didn't really know the band members, but I knew the sound guy who did the work to put the sound on this, and I don't see his name here, but in any case, demonstration, not for sale. That's what it says here. You can't see it because of the way the lighting is up here, pressed into it. Okay, not for sale, not copyrighted. Okay. Now, we have a button here which says reject. And we do not have a dropping kind of spindle here, and I don't think there is one. And this is really one record at a time. So the reject button, you gotta wonder, why do they call this button reject? And I think I know why. I've wondered this all my life. Not a lot of words available, so they had to pick something. But really what it was back when records were all 78s and it was one song aside, it's kind of like 45 RPM records, one song aside. You'd have to go up, put a record on, 3 minutes later take it off, put another one on. Boy, that's an annoyance. You spend your whole evening standing by your record player. So they made the tall spindle that you could stack records on. And then we're talking in the 1920s and 30s here. So now you stack up your favorite records and you put them on. Your buddy comes over, hey, listen to all these records. You start playing them. Plays the first record, plays the second record. Your friend's really impressed with everything, enjoying the music. The third record comes down. Your friend says, I don't like that. I don't like that song. I don't want to hear that. What are you going to do? You got a stack of records up here. You got the one that's playing down here. What your friend is saying is reject that record, reject that song. So you push the reject button and it's going to play the next song. And so that enabled you to get rid of a song. Otherwise you put a stack of records on there, you were committed to listening to those 8 records. And if your friend said, I don't like record number 3, what are you going to do? Well, I guess you could reach in and fool around with the So that's where the word reject comes from, to allow you to reject dropped records. Now in this record player there's nothing dropping. It's one record. So the reject is a little silly in a way. Okay, so we turn it on by just swinging this over. It's nice and quiet. I don't hear any funny sounds coming out. It's very, very quiet. This feels moderately heavy. When it came, it had a dime taped to the top of it. But this already feels heavy enough to do the trick. I'm pretty sure what's in here is a ceramic cartridge. Don't know that for sure. Down we go. Well, actually, almost down. Down we go. Okay, so I'm hearing it out of this speaker. I'm not hearing it out of this one. Yeah, that's my friend's record, alright, and I get to play this. No copyright. Oh, what happened there? I kind of bounced my bench a little bit. Okay, something's loose somewhere. Let me put this over. Now we can hear that. Now that sound, that's often from a bad connection. Let's find a bad connection. Maybe it's this. And it could be a bad wire. What happened there? How come it went from being lousy to being great? Oh, lousy again. Is it this? Maybe bad wires here. balance control. Wait a minute. Is it? Ha! That's what it is. So we found these switches to be unreliable all the way through. Whoop, where'd it go? One channel went out. Who are you, man? Okay, so I'm pulling out the channel we've been listening to. The other channel we can't hear right now. This way I'll just hear the troublesome channel while I'm doing stuff. Where'd it go? Wow, where did it go completely? You can see the volume indicator here. It's just a really, really dirty switch. Okay, let's just accept whatever's coming out of this for now. I'll put on the other channel. Where'd it go? They're both gone now. There's more than one thing here that's acting up. Oh, I pulled out the good channel. Yeah, put in the good channel. Okay, we'll just switch to the good channel for now and listen to it. Let's try that reject button. I don't like this song. It'd be a lot quicker if you just reached over and pulled it over. So there we go. So it turned itself off. That's good. Let's put it back on. Let's use the dropper. We're gonna. Oh! It decided not to play it. How did that happen? So this is the problem. Right here. We just saw it. Now how come it didn't do it the other time? Well, I got away with playing it once. Pretty sure the owner of it said the same thing to me. I got away with playing one record, and then after that it just wanted to do this. So, I mean, it's reset by cutting the power off to it. Let's see. Does that kill the power? Kills the power. Okay, put the power back on. I wouldn't think this would do anything. Nope. So it thinks it's finished the record. I think that's what it thinks. With a spindle dropping record player, the record player can detect when there's no records left to drop, and it will turn itself off. This doesn't have that feature. It's got nothing to do that. So somehow it's stuck thinking it's at the end of the record. Let me turn the power off again. Okay, so I can do this. I'm feeling now what's happening. I didn't feel a thing, so that didn't tell me anything at all. It's pretty noisy, like it's dragging something around underneath. You can almost hear it. Or moving around like this maybe. So most of these record players, the mechanism kind of grabs the tone arm, does its thing, and when it's finished, it lets go of the tone arm. So the tone arm is as free as possible. So out here in the record playing zone, I wouldn't expect to hear all that. Don't know though. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, take the back off, look inside, and click our heels twice and hope we can spot something. And my guess is it's just a lubrication issue. That's usually the problem with these things. Coffee break time for me though. Yeah, I went to turn the record player over to take the bottom off and the platter fell off and exposed all this. Well, okay, let's start here. So this is the mechanism for detecting the end of the record. This piece right in here, and you know, this is a little bit tricky to explain how this works, but it starts with the problem of detecting the end of the record. Not all records end in the same physical location. Some have more music on them, and so they end a little further in. Some have less, they end a little further out. So building a record player where when the is this turned off? Yes, it is. Where when this gets all the way over to a certain point and then picks up wouldn't work, because in some records you'd have to listen to, you know, dead record for a while, and others it would pick up too early. So somehow they had to detect the end of the record itself. And believe it or not, that is why, I gotta get my record here. That is why the inside groove here travels inwards much faster than the rest of the grooves. I mean, the rest of these grooves are hardly moving, right? As it plays the record, the tone arm is hardly moving. When it gets to this point, it begins to move more quickly. Believe it or not, it's the velocity of the movement that triggers the tone arm. Very, very early records, say 1920, and in around that range, what they did was, when the tone arm got to the middle of the record, the groove here went back and forth. So the tone arm would go back and forth. When it went back in retrograde motion, that would trigger the record player to knowing the record was over, because until then, the tone arm only traveled forward. So they had a way of detecting retrograde motion in the tone arm. But that didn't work out all that well either. They came up with this system. So this thing is called a velocity sensor. And it's a little hard to understand what's going on. But let's give it a try here. If I turn this around. Can you see on this white piece, it's very hard to see, there's a little piece sticking out right past my finger there. You can see it as I swing it. You can see it here. Let's call this the kicker. Actually, we can call this the catch. This is the catch. If it comes along and turns, it can catch this little piece of metal. When it does, the record player is spinning, right? The platter has momentum in it, and it's being driven by the motor over here and the belt. It will pull this a little bit. It will turn this wheel just a little bit. Now you can't see it right now, but with this wheel where it's sitting, it has no teeth to engage with this. It has a blank spot on the wheel. You can see just a touch of it right there. I'm just showing it right here. You can see it. So as long as this wheel is sitting in this position, the platter can turn and this gear can spin and nothing happens. But if this were to move just a little bit, the teeth here would engage with these, and this thing would go around. It'll go around only once until the blank spot where there's no teeth arrives back here, and will stop again. We'll just stall. And that's the one-time operation that can be triggered. I'll explain the trigger in a minute. And that this thing spinning is what causes the tone arm to go up, go over, and do all of its stuff. This is kind of the drive, the main drive wheel, if you like, and it's getting its power from the platter, which is being driven by the motor over here. Okay, so if the tone arm is moving, and here's another part of it. If you watch this piece right here. See it moving in? That's the part I could hear. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a cheap record player, and at a slow movement you'd never hear anything, but if you move it quickly you can hear this going back and forth. This is not oiled or anything. It's very, very light. It's just laying in here on dry metal and plastic. The friction here is very, very low, because this is literally being pushed by the tone arm, and the tone arm's being pushed by riding in the grooves on the record. There's not a lot of power here at all. So, but it's enough to push this forward. When it gets forward enough, you can't really see it. It begins to interfere a little bit with these guys. Maybe I won't explain this 100%. There's probably better explanations on the internet for it. If it moves quick enough, then this spinning part will catch this lever. If it's moving slowly, when this kicker part comes around, it won't engage with this. It won't catch this. This thing will have been pushed away slightly. It's hard for me to explain it here like this. This is a bad explanation. Bad explanation. But the main thing is, it's the velocity. This is why when you, it's the velocity in this range here. So you can do this all you like. You can see the mechanism is not engaging. When you get close to the end, now it starts doing it. Do you see it push this? Pushing it over. If it pushes it fast enough, this thing will be in position to get caught by this. Well, maybe I can explain this a little bit further. Can you see that there's two metal plates here? One sitting on top of the other. They're just sitting. There's no connection between, like, they're just two pieces of metal sitting, and they're a common pivot point. The upper metal has the catch part right here. The lower metal is the one that's being pushed by this thing. Right up in here, there's a tang going down, and this guy is pushing it. Pushing it. You see, it's pushing it. Let's put it like this. Too far. It's pushing it. Pushing this close to the catch. So this thing comes around because the platter's turning, right? At some point it's going to catch this. But there's another effect going on, which is pushing the catch away. So if this is moving slowly, this is so hard to kind of demonstrate. So this is moving slowly out in the record. Let's go here. It's moving slowly. The record's not over yet. It's not in the middle moving quickly. It's still moving slowly. It starts pushing these plates. It's pushing the lower plate, and the upper plate is riding on top. It's just going along for the ride. When the thing comes around, if this hasn't moved far enough, it will be kicked back. It will get kicked back. Somehow. I can't even see how it happens, but it does. So the lower plate continues to bring this thing forward, bring the catch forward, but the catch gets kicked back every time around by this, unless it moves quickly. If it moves quickly, instead of getting kicked back, it will catch this. That'll cause the wheel to turn a bit. That'll cause the gears to engage. This thing will go around one time. The mechanism will operate. This thing will come back to its stall point and stop. And this guy, somewhere in the process, will have been reset. I didn't know exactly how. So what's this lever? So if I push the reject button over here with my finger, see what's going on? It pushes this apparatus into the spot where it's going to get kicked. So this initiates the wheels going around once. That'll pick up the tone arm and take it back and set it down. I don't know if I explained that very well or not. I really don't. So pulled forward, kicked back, move fast enough, engage. Move slow, kick back. Move fast, engage. Maybe that's the way to put it. So what's wrong here? Well, I don't see anything wrong. This is to start off with. All this fiddling around, everything seems just perfectly fine to me. Often in these record players, people sometimes put oil on this. That's bad news, because that makes the two plates grip much tighter. Yeah, a little like the Tesla's famous discovery of the adherence of water over a surface, so he could make his pump, his special pump. Anyway, so you don't put oil on these. And regardless, after years and years, sometimes these things get stuck together. When they stick together, they no longer operate. If it was stuck over here, every time this went around, the record player would try to reject. So the question would be then, what's going on here? That would be the question. What is going on? What is going on? I mean, this thing started rejecting here. And look, there's nowhere near it. It's not getting reset properly. Now, without the platter on here, it's a little hard to imitate the operation here, but I might be able to. I guess I really don't need any power on at all. So yeah, I do. It's just a little bit tricky. I've got to make this thing. I gotta get this. I gotta get this thing into the situation it's in just before it picks up. I think maybe one of the answers here is I was able to play a record first time, and it kind of went. The owner told me the same thing. He was able to play a record and played the whole thing, went back, shut up, but from then on it just kept doing this because this guy didn't get reset. Why would that be? Why would he not get reset? How does it get reset? Well, what is it that resets it? You know what? Maybe it gets reset just by getting kicked again. So we kick this. Now this guy goes all the way around. Doesn't do anything here. I thought I would pick up the. Okay, so it's gone around. Now, is this going to kick it? No, it's going to miss it, but just by a hair. But that's how these things are made. Now, is this supposed to go back further? No, I don't think so. So this is back. Somehow this has gotten back all the way. And you can see if you just kind of shake, if you do something like that, you could potentially shake this into its position, so it gets triggered. It's just a floppy piece of metal here being shoved by this thing. So if the record player is on a bit of a tilt, a little bit of a vibration, this thing comes down. Is that what's happening? I wish we could see under here while it operates, but we can't. So, so what is it that's supposed to reset this? How is it supposed to reset? Let's go around for another trip. Oh, right there. No, that didn't reset it, did it? There's a little piece hanging out here. As it goes by, it moves this into the wrong position. This is really in the. Let's see. Let's just come around and see what it does. You can say that this is in the sticking out position, and the little tang here is ready to catch this. We don't want it there. It's supposed to be not there. Comes in. This is still spinning. This is going to come around. It's going to hit the thing. Oh, it didn't hit it. Now what happens? Does that mean it did that? How did that happen? Let's go around again. Okay, we hit the thing. We'll go around. Was I going around the wrong way before? I was going around the wrong way. Coming down. So now this stick out part is striking here. I think it's resetting everything. No, this is the reset. Right here. There. Everything got reset. Just by the shape of the metal here. Running into the side of this. This gets pushed back. It's reset. It's ready to go now. So there's no way this should engage coming around. No, it's missing entirely. Okay, now that I know what's going on, let me show you with a close-up camera. We'll see. We'll see what's up here. It's a little hard to appreciate all this from a distance. think I'm going to hold this with my hand as best I can. It's not going to work out very well. Ooh, I should really have it this way. Just bear with me a moment here. This is what live video looks like, if you're wondering. Okay, that's pretty good there. That's going to do the trick. So, here's the kicker just out of sight. The catch. So that's reset position. This is all the way back. It got reset as it came by this wheel. This part of the metal got pushed back. Come on, camera, don't do that. Just one sec, I'm going to freeze the focus on this camera because you can see why. Just bear with me again for a moment. More evidence that this is being done live. There we go. Okay, I won't do that again. So this can go by again and again and again. So that's the platter turning. Now, once the tone arm gets over far enough, it will start pushing the velocity sensor apparatus forward. Let me just... It's actually pushing the lower metal plate. When I get there, I don't want to go too far. There. So it just moved it a bit. And now the record comes around. Instead of engaging, it kicks it back. You see it? Did you see it kick it back? As long as it doesn't come forward, you can see the distance there. More than about 1 millimeter, this thing will kick it back. Now it can't kick the lower plate. The lower plate is being pushed by the tone arm. But it kicks the upper plate, which is just riding on the lower plate. Now I'm moving the tone arm further. Okay, so that's played another groove, another time around, kicks it back. So you see the upper plate is sliding over the lower plate as the lower plate is being brought in. Now what happens if the tone arm moves quickly instead of the slow speed? Whoops, I bumped this. Well, that doesn't really matter. If it's moving quickly, what in the length of time it takes to go around, or the single rotation, it will push this in further, like you see it now, because of the rapid movement inside. And when this comes around, kicks that, moves the white wheel, engages with the lower gears, and away she goes. Around, around, around she goes. And when it comes back, you see the missing, the toothless part there? There it is. It just stops because the drive disappears. And this is reset at the last moment just by virtue of the shape of the lower metal plate. And she's ready to go again. Why isn't this working? Everything seems absolutely normal. And this would have to be in the wrong place. Why would it be in the wrong place? Okay, let us... Sorry, just a moment here. Why would it be in the wrong place? That's a good question. So right now it's in the play position. And if we went to turn on the record player, this would come, none of this is being affected. None of this is being affected at all. So this action can't trigger it. It has to be pre-triggered somehow. Okay, so it's in the right position now. I'll throw the platter on. No belt. Just the platter. I think that's turning the lower gear. I can't tell. Yeah, if this is turning, it's turning the lower gear. They're fused together. So we're playing the record. I'll be the motor. Playing the record. Okay, drop it on the record. Now it's playing. I've got it up because this arm is up, so it won't go down. It's playing along. And I can actually examine the position of the pusher. It's just about to engage. Is this on? This is on. What's going on here? The bearing is so good, it's just spinning on its own there. Well, that is a little bit surprising because I have the power turned off to the amplifier, and I thought before I proved that power off of the amplifier, this doesn't get any power. Or was that all momentum? Hard to believe. Okay, so what's happened now is the two metal plates should have been kicked back into their starting position. So I should be able to bring this up and over. There's no, oh. No, this motor's not going. It must have just been momentum. Momentum, please. Okay, so I'm the motor again. You can see we're able to play it. What's the difference? What was going on? No motor driving it this time. Okay, well, what? It's just me. Okay. How come you're turning now? I mean, the motor's not connected to this, so there's no way the motor can drive this gem. The belt is over here, for crying out loud. Well, it all seemed to work. It seemed to work perfectly fine. Just by talking about it. Maybe the record player was just dissatisfied with nobody understanding how it worked, and when it heard me describe how it worked, it said, okay, now I'm happy. Yeah, I don't believe that nonsense. Let's put the motor, put the belt back on. So how do you put a belt on one of these guys? A couple steps. First step, put the belt on the inner rim here, if I can call it the rim. Get it on. Whoops. Okay, we take a look at it, make sure it's not flipped over anywhere. It's all flat. Yep. There's a reason for these holes here. So what we're going to do, that. That's what we're going to do. I want to stick my finger through here. Oh my gosh. Okay. See what's happening here? And we just drop it around the motor. There we are. Okay, now I'm going to put the power on. Oh, we better put the record on here. Be very careful I don't destroy the needle by accident. Although I don't think the needle is in great condition. Okay, power on, and volume is low, and here we go. Okay, so it didn't reset. Play a little bit. Channels, both channels. Good. Now we're gonna take this guy in here. Now I gotta move it. When I get it close, you gotta move it very slowly, or you'll trigger the velocity sensor, which is why when you swing this towards the center, it seems to pick up early. It is picking up early because you're moving it at too fast a speed. Okay, we'll let the record do the rest. Get off my finger. Okay, man, do your thing. Now, according to the experience both the owner and I have had, my next attempt to play this won't work. High speed in this area. Okay, what we'll do is put it on, let her play a bit. Oh, 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 how'd that happen? How did that happen? This is my intelligent watch has just come on and gone, Jim, time to stand. I've been standing here for half an hour. Together, I'm not impressed with this watch thing at all. Once again, so I just picked it up, went like that, and it, let's try it again. Oops, nope. So now it's in that mode where I would guess the velocity sensor is in the wrong position. It's either not getting reset properly. I don't know how that would be. How would that be? Can't get anywhere because the velocity sensor is set too far forward and it's just catching every time. I'm going to push the reject button here. You know what that does? That moves the kicker right into position to trigger it. The kicker, the trigger. This should not have helped at all. No. Okay. Oh, so it's very consistent now. It's just triggering every time. You can't even get here. Let's look at the mechanism and see where it is. By rights, it should be. It should have been pushed away. Ooh, ooh, oh, oh, oh. Okay. Let's take a look. We'll look with the closer up camera here. So you can see the kicker is right there, ready to be kicked. Well, this thing comes around, kapowie. So somehow this is not getting reset. Yet it looked like it's impossible to not get reset. This wheel goes around. What was that? Oh, that's starting up the motor. So we're turning this way. I'm going to drive this way. So the motor's spinning away over here. A little noisy, eh? I didn't hear that noise before. Shut the power off. There. Okay, so we're going around. Now we're going to examine the kicker situation. We're going around, going around, going around. Assumably this mechanism was this way. I mean, I just kind of undid the whole experiment there. Comes around, and you can see how the lower plate gets pushed. Ooh. Yeah, so the lower plate has been pushed. Now, and the wheel should stop where it is now. And if we look, it's in the perfect position to be kicked away. So why is it when I do it here, this all works, but when it's got the platter on it, it doesn't work? We are talking about just a minuscule of a distance. There's something gone loose here. The wheel's a little bit loose. Do you think that's enough? Enough play in the wheel? I don't think so, because when it's reset, okay, we have to go around again. So it's it reset. Perfect. Yeah, pretty quiet. Is this thing interfering with it? I don't know how it could. How can this interfere here? So if I push this button and let go, that stays there. That looks a little wrong. Let's run this around now. Right. Well, if it is interfering, it would do it. It would do it. I mean, this lever is intended to cause the trigger, right? When you push this button, the mechanical lever pushes that guy in and just causes the trigger to activate. So it's designed to activate it. Is it accidentally activating it? Let's reset. Let's go around again. Going around again. Coming in. Okay, so the bottom plate is reset. The top plate gets reset, or bottom and top go together there. Okay, we're coming into the neutral now. The platter just keeps spinning. It misses. Now, is there? I just left this where it went. Doesn't seem to have interfered at all. If it was just a little bit further forward, there's a bit of play in it. It always wants to. It's pretty consistent on where it ends up. It ends up in the same place every time. Let me push the button a few times. Same place every time. Okay, we'll leave it there and we'll go around again. Let's go around again. Okay. Triggering. Nothing happened there. Going around. Coming around. Well, that seemed to be reset already. So they were rotating the lower plate, dragging the upper plate back to its reset spot. And there's clearance there. So I don't think it can be this lever. What could the difference be? When the machine is spinning, there's a little more, like this happens a little quick. Not this quick. Oh, I think I just found it. Did you see what happened when I let it snap? Let's go around again. I'm just going to let it kind of clunk in there. Come on, go around. There we go. Did you see it? When it clunked in, the center part just flew forward. It just flew forward. Why exactly would it fly forward? I mean, okay, I'm going to try it again. Do it a little bit slower this time. So that time it didn't fly forward. But it has the potential to do that. What's holding it? That thing's holding it. I think that's the problem. I think it's spontaneously being thrown forward when you don't want it to. Well, how in the heck are you ever going to stop that from happening? Okay, so if that's the case, that means if you tip this record player up, you could cause those things to reset. Let's see if that happens. Maybe it's a solution. You just have to tip it up after every record. Yeah, maybe that's it. Okay, so I'm going to put the platter back on. I'm going to stop, have a little bit of coffee, and 37 minutes straight here. Wow. Having fun. Okay, and then never did the coffee thing. Let's turn it on. Okay, so the velocity sensor is in the proper starting position. The record player should operate normally at this point. Should not kick back, try to turn off or anything. Play music. All the way to here, nothing should happen. Somewhere in here, the velocity sensor will catch it. Back she goes. Off. Now, if my theory is right, the velocity sensor is in the wrong position now. It has jumped forward accidentally, and it's ready to kick off. So that means if I start this up again, one rotation, and it's going to turn itself off. There it goes. Now, here's the real experiment. Can we knock the kicker back by doing this? I tell you, if you got friends over and you say, "Look at my record player," and this is what you're doing with it between every record, you're gonna wonder, "Wow, is that what you have to do with a record player?" Okay, did we reset the kicker? I don't know. We did not. Let's not give up just yet. Just a little more. Yeah, I wonder. Now, I mean, it depends upon the balance, the weight of the plate. It could be what I'm doing is actually making the plate go the wrong way. I assumed it would go this way. I don't know that for sure. We'll try one more like this. Anybody home? Anybody home? And okay, we seem to have done it. Come over. Oh, I really did it. There it goes. Get off. it's failed to reset, theoretically. So this means it should just go back, and reset. It reset. Maybe giving it a good spanking was what it needed. Wouldn't bet on that. Okay. Try again. And it goes back. So it's one of these things, you know, it's like a fraction of a millimeter issue here. Okay, so once again, can I reset this manually? 1, 2, 3, 4. Short, sharp knocks. Not that time. Could be kind of a hit and miss thing if the balance of those parts on their pivot is if they're really quite balanced, and shaking it's just kind of a random thing. Let's go random again. Okay, what's the solution here? Has a part worn out? Has a part lost some of its dimension, or been bent, or somehow dislocated? Doesn't seem that way to me. It seems like it's just what I said. There's a shutter in the machine just at a certain point, and that little piece drifts forward just enough to be in the trigger position. Coffee time. For real. Let's take a look at my kicker reset technique and just see the balance of the pieces I'm trying to shake into position. They may well balance differently. Okay, so here's the pieces, and they're hanging. When I tip this up, they're hanging on this. It sure looks like there's more metal here, but maybe not. So we're gonna put them up like this and give them the shakedown treatment. I don't know if you can see them in there. Give it the shakedown treatment and just shook them down. Okay, let's put them back up. Make sure they're up. They're in the wrong position now. The motor started up. There. I left the power on while I was doing that. Did it shake them down? Yes, it did. So now we're on to the next thing. So what do you do about this? That's a good question. What do you do about this? Part of the answer might be understanding exactly what's happening that's kicking them forward. I think it's just a shutter in the machine as it shuts off. But I mean, you know, how much of a shutter do you need to make them come forward? You need quite a shutter. That's not going to come forward with a little shaking. That doesn't come forward at all. Now what if I tip this up? Oh, so I left this just in the wrong position there. Let's try it again. This will help me understand if, oh yeah, just dropped right down. And then you can shake it right back. the feet on here? The feet? No, it's not. Oh, maybe it's not level. Maybe, but I would think, you know, a tiny bit of being off level is not going to be enough to cause this to happen. Yeah, let's close the lid on that. I don't really have a solution in hand for this situation. Is it a wear out question? Is something worn out? I don't see it. I don't see it. So one possibility here, which is crossing my mind, is to go ahead and throw a little bit of oil on here. Ooh, don't do that. Yeah, maybe just a wee bit of oil in here might be enough to stick these plates together, and then the top one won't slide, which is what's happening. The top one is wandering off. There'll be a adhesion between the plates if you put fluid between them. The problem with that adhesion is when this comes over and trying to push all this very light metal, the adhesion could present a problem. The two plates, they won't slide underneath each other as easy. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, right? Put oil in so they won't slide, but then they do need to slide. In the long run, old oil anyway becomes glue. I have some newer oil, it wouldn't do that. And some synthetic oil. Wow, those are the options. Not good. Yeah, situation's not. Why has it come forward? Okay, watch this. So every now it's in the play mode, if you like. Okay, I'm going to put it into the stop mode. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just throw this around like that. Now, what happened? Come around. See? Let's try it again here. Now, normally it's not spinning at this speed. Here we go. There it is. So you can see it actually happening right here. So I have a way now of, I can experiment with this a little bit. I don't know what I would do. What would the experiment be? Yeah, it's from clunking in, this thing just slides forward a wee bit. How are you going to stop that? What all's coming forward? Is it just the top plate or the bottom one too? So it did push the bottom plate back, and the bottom plate is back against a stop here. So the top plate is sliding forward on its own over top of the bottom plates. So the idea of putting a little bit of fluid in here, oil in here, might be a good idea. I mean, it's counter to what you're supposed to do. But how else are you going to fix this? Would I tighten this down? Can I tighten this down a little bit? Maybe, you know, maybe. I don't know. You don't want this to be particularly tight here. It feels like it's going down, but no, I think my screwdriver's sliding off the. Is it still loose? Oh. Yeah, it's still loose. Could that have possibly done anything? I can't imagine. Ooh, don't break the wheel. You break this little piece of plastic here, and that's the end of the whole show. I can't imagine that did anything. I don't know, bending this top plate. No. Let's go around. Let's go around for a trip here. That's good. That time was good. don't think I made any difference here at all. It's pretty tempting to put the oil in here, but the problem with doing that is it's a one-way trip. The oil goes in, you can't get it out after. Not without taking all this apart, and then you break that little plastic nubbin off probably, and that's the end of everything. We don't want to do that. So solution sounds like if you implement the oil solution, you run the risk of wrecking everything, and kind of permanently. Kind of. So you might think bending this might help, but I don't think so, because we're not good, because this is flopping all the way in. It's not just coming a little bit. It's going all the way. That's what I say to that. Well, I'm really stuck at this point. Wow, I've put a lot of time into this. And here, I know exactly what the problem is. What I don't know is how to solve it. How do you solve something like this? Other than tipping on the record player up and banging it. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm going to call it quits here, unfortunately, for today. And think about this. I don't know what I'm going to come up with, but we'll see. Oh, there's lots more to do yet. I still have to look at the needle and all this kind of stuff. So tomorrow we'll carry on with this. Okay, well, thanks a lot for watching this rather long video. See ya.